Get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Good morning on this Thursday, October 10th. Great to have you with us for another Morning Barbados. I feel like singing the song today for some reason, but I won't. I won't subject you to that. I'm Tisha Hines. I'll be here with you until 8 o'clock along with the crew. Of course, that includes Peter and Nadia and Chris and Ruel and everybody else working along in the back. You know how that goes. So a special shout out to you and your entire team this morning, because I know, these people are our work family and we go out, we see them every single day. Some of them we like more than others, but that's a fact of life. That's how things go. All right, so we have a great show planned for you today, and there's lots happening as well. It's World Sight Day. We're going to be talking a little bit about that in a minute, but we wanted to bring you an update on what's happening. So we have the latest report on Milton, the eye of Hurricane Milton, which traveled overnight from near the Tampa Bay area east toward Orlando and Cape Canaveral, is now moving past the Florida Peninsula and exiting the East Coast, according to CNN. But the storm, currently a Category 1 hurricane, is still slamming parts of the coast with onshore wind that could create tornadoes along Florida's CNN. For instance, Daytona Beach is recording wind gusts of up to 83 miles per hour. Storm surge of up to 4 feet is still possible along the coast as the storm departs. Heavy rains also still pose a risk, with some places receiving months' worth of rainfall within 1 day. Flash flooding is now being reported in Tampa, stretching north and east towards Orlando, where flood warnings are still in place. That mix of water, inland flooding trying to drain away through rivers and creeks toward the coast, and storm surge coming the other way could cause even worse flooding that might not drain until the hurricane has traveled further away. And we know, of course, that they are still recovering from the effects of Helene. So if you have relatives or friends in those general areas, make sure you check in with them, most certainly if they've not evacuated. I know here in Barbados, we checked in with our mission there in the U.S., and they've said that they've been able to connect with a lot of the Barbadian community and diaspora, and many of them have made the move to go to safer places. So we wish them all the best, and of course are praying that no more lives are lost. There are reports that Helene has already caused billions of dollars of damage in that area as well. So definitely praying for them. These are some images that are being shared. That is home of the Tampa Bay team, the baseball team. So definitely lots of damage going on already. And this as a result of Hurricane Milton. So lots going on in the U.S. Make sure you check in, and we certainly will continue to update you as the morning goes on right here on Morning Barbados. Now, the second Thursday of October is World Sight Day, and that is today. This year, the World Sight Day theme is Children Love Your Eyes. How about that? Children Love Your Eyes. The theme highlights the importance of protecting our eyes and vision, raising awareness of vision impairment and blindness, and promoting eye and vision care. Joining us again this year is Dr. David Callender, consultant ophthalmologist, consultant with the ophthalmology department at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, thank you.
Good to have you with us today. Happy World Sight Day.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's talk a little bit about this particular theme, Children Love Your Eyes, which you are continuing. As we discussed, there was an initiative that was started last year and continues even this year.
Good, thank you. Good morning, viewers. First of all, I want to thank you for inviting me or accepting our desire to be present. We have been involved in a school eye care program for over 50 years. And what we recognize is that children who are sent to be checked ideally were discovered by teachers who noticed there may be a problem, or maybe some parents. And we decided, or we felt that a better way to approach the problem was to screen children ourselves. And we started last year. We did a pilot where we screened first formers, and now we've embarked on a program where we're screening first formers every year between the months of January and June. And we'll screen persons entering school for the first time between July and December. So the whole idea is to catch or identify children who may have eye problems before they start school or before they start the secondary school education, rather than depend on teachers to identify those who may have a problem, so that we expect a bigger yield of patients. We catch them earlier, we can intervene earlier, and give them the best education experience that they can get if they have good vision.
Are there specific diseases or conditions that affect children specifically?
For sure, we have conditions that kids may be born with that we call congenital, or some may develop early in childhood. And you know, a lot of kids are nearsighted, they need glasses. Some develop problems from injury, and some develop problems from other underlying conditions. But first of all, I'd like to speak a bit about the nearsightedness that we see. We see a lot of patients who are nearsighted, a lot of kids. And recent evidence has shown that, unfortunately, pandemic, indoor activities and lack of outdoor activities and all devices have increased the incidence of nearsightedness worldwide. So a lot of parents ask, how much time should our kids have on the devices? Well, I would suggest that a maximum of 2 hours per day if possible.
That's per day, not per session.
Per day.
Okay.
Unless it is, of course, related to your schoolwork. But the constant close work with the phone and tablets as opposed to laptops has been shown by the National Institute of Health, a study they did that has increased the incidence of nearsightedness worldwide, and we need to maybe ensure that that amount of time is limited for the young children. So in addition to nearsightedness, we have lots of children who have eye allergy, and a few who are born with cataracts. They have to be removed as soon as possible. We also have had a screening program in the NACU, Neonatal Intensive Care Unit, for many years, where we screen babies who are premature, and we screen them for a particular condition that can cause blindness if not detected early. So that's been going on for the past 25, 30 years. Also, we have, I should emphasize the fact that we have a school-like clinic at Vincent Scott Polyclinic for the past 50 years, where children who may seem to have a problem are referred primarily from the teachers at school. But now that we have the disseminated screening program in 3 other polyclinics, they also refer from those polyclinics. And there's a free service that we offer to children who may need glasses, who need to get their eyes checked. And if they have problems more than just glasses, they refer to me at the hospital for further intervention.
And that's what ages?
Any school child.
As long as they're in school?
As long as they're in school.
Okay.
Up until 6th form if they're in older secondary school. So this service is free, and we need to make better use of it. Now that we're screening in 3 other polyclinics besides Vincent Scott, and these are Oystins, Brantford Tate, and Eunice Gibson, kids who are detected to have a problem are also sent to the main clinic of Vincent Scott for glasses if they need glasses, or for further management of their conditions. And a lot of them come to me if they have medical or surgical problems. I want to emphasize that this service is free. We encourage parents to make use of it, and we've been identifying patients, or we're encouraging patients to come when they get their vaccination certificate for school. We encourage parents to make the appointment to get the eyes checked, if you want to go that route to get the eyes checked.
Often for a lot of people, the only time they more or less get the eyes checked is if they go to the doctor and the doctor says, you know, you see that little screen at your GP that you kind of read through. But in your profession and based on what you've seen, what age would you say is an ideal age by which a parent should at least get their child's eyes checked?
Well, all babies get the eyes checked generally at birth. If you're a premature baby, you get the eyes checked in NSU. But certainly before a child starts school or just about time of starting school, that's a good time to get the eyes checked. Some kids go through school not seeing properly, and their work as a result suffers. Some have been labeled dyslexic from my experience, and when they get the glasses, they can see the board, they become top of the class, so they're nearsighted. So if you get the eyes checked on entry into school, it's the first step in the right direction. If problems arise during your school time, the door is open to get your eyes checked privately or school-like clinic. If you identify your problem, or the parents identify your problem, or the teachers identify your problem, you get the eyes checked.
Well, I also saw the results of the study that you spoke about, with a lot more children presenting as, being nearsighted. And even the concept of it was just mind-blowing, to think that they're not necessarily focusing on things far out any longer. And because they're, like this a lot of the times is why we're seeing challenges with them. I know there's a lot of data going on about blue light and whether you should or not. In my own experience, I've experienced an optician who said the blue light feature in glasses really doesn't make a difference. But should you be, if you already have a child with an eye condition or who's wearing glasses, should you be concerned with stuff like that, like the feature to maybe rebuff some of the blue light and things like that?
Well, there's no doubt that the constant viewing of the devices which generate radiation causes a problem with eye irritation. The eyes may get dry, get red and sore. Anything that can mitigate against that, I will embrace. I wouldn't object to having the blue light filters in the glasses. From patients who've been experiencing the use of these glasses, they seem to be more comfortable. So, and lots of persons like secretaries who spend a lot of time on the computer, they seem to have some good results. So, I don't emphasize it, but if a patient wants it, I would not refuse to give it to them. But I think it has some benefit.
Yeah, for a long time we weren't necessarily seeing a lot of to maybe shift gears, and maybe this applies to children as well, because I'm seeing a lot more children of school age wearing things like false eyelashes. So people are manipulating the eyes a whole lot more. So, your thoughts on that and how that can add to the conditions we're seeing with the eyes?
First of all, my personal opinion, I don't think the ladies need to be wearing so much false eyelashes in the first place.
Especially ones that look like windshades.
And they also need glue to stick the eyelashes onto your real eyelashes. There's some patients where the glue irritates the eyes. Some of the eyes are hard to examine. The lids are so heavy, they can't get the lids lifted. May have chronic irritation. And there's some persons who wear glasses that the lids actually rub on the inside of the lenses. So I think that's really unnecessary to the large extent that we see it. And it serves no purpose, and it can actually cause irritation of the eyes over a period of time. And I've had patients who've had to get medication because of the glue used to stick the eyelashes on. So, unfortunately, I'm not sold on the false eyelashes, the widespread use of false eyelashes, especially in young children, school-age children.
I've seen a lot of school-age children with them these days, which is why I brought that up. So, generally what we want to reinforce on this World Sight Day is all of the options that we have. We want to emphasize that they're free, glasses are free, and it's all available to school-age children.
That's right.
So you mentioned that you can go out to any of the 4 polyclinics you mentioned.
Well, we have screening programs in Winston Scott Polyclinic, Randall Phillips, which is Austin's, Eunice Gibson, and Brantford Tate. And these are primarily for school children. The first half of the year, we focus on kids going into secondary school for the first time. And this time, we're focusing on kids going to school for the first time. And we encourage parents to make use of the facility. And the glasses, the test for the glasses is done at Winston Scott Polyclinic if they've been identified to have a problem, and they get the glasses free via the Winston Scott Polyclinic main office of the school-like clinic.
What's the process like of screening for people or little ones who might be a little nervous about someone checking their eyes?
Well, fortunately, we were donated with a special eye charts by the Ministry of Education, and these charts have different pictures we can use or symbols for kids. So we have, for younger children who may not know the letters, we have pictures of objects, and we use those to test their vision with each eye separately and together. We check for alignment of the eyes to make sure the eyes are not misaligned either in or out. And we look for red reflex to check, make sure that the pathway to the retina is clear. And it is not very difficult. It's just a matter of getting the kids' attention and playing along with them and see what you need to see. It's a quick process. And then we channel those that we found in various directions we need to go. It's not difficult.
Yeah, some people might be a little nervous, particularly when you're dealing with little ones, not being exactly sure what to expect. And then what about conditions of the eye? Pardon me for this, but maybe visual conditions. I know sometimes we talk about, there being some children or young people who are cross-eyed and nobody bothers about it. I know one of my cousins, she immigrated to the U.S. many years ago when she was maybe 6 or 7, and she was cross-eyed, and they corrected it. So she's not cross-eyed anymore. So, are these conditions that we can handle here as well?
Yeah. When the eyes are cross-eyed or divergent, we call that a squint or strabismus. The eyes are supposed to be straight. When the eyes are straight, you have better vision, you have better depth perception, you can judge distances better. So any misalignment of the eyes is not normal. The eyes can be made straight with a combination of things. There are some patients where the need for glasses causes the eyes to drift. And if you test these children for glasses and put them in the appropriate prescription, the eyes may go straight. The eyes may go partially straight or fully straight. Sometimes an eye is not seeing well, so the brain can't keep it straight. So you may need to patch the other eye to make the vision better, to make that eye see better, and hence a better chance of going straight. And sometimes we can do eye exercises to help to pull the eyes in to stay straight. Ultimately, we can have surgery to correct the misalignment of the eyes, and that's a very straightforward operation. That'll be my job for the past 27 years. So the eyes can be made straight. No child should have to grow up with cross-eye. A cross-eye means either this or that. You don't have to grow up with cross eyes. And many kids who may miss the boat when they're younger can have it done in teenage years or even adulthood, because it's a very straightforward process. It's not difficult.
That's good to know, because there are so many conditions that I think sometimes we accept as that's what it is and it can't be changed. But owing to medicine and technology, modern age technology and so on, we definitely, can make those changes. These are things that can make a real drastic difference to the quality of life, what children experience in school, at home, and these are things that children can be often bullied for.
Most definitely.
So that's important.
The straightening of the eyes is not only a cosmetic function. It has functional ramifications. You can see better, and you feel better. There's less teasing, and the kids feel good about themselves, and makes them better off psychologically, and they do better at school.
Yeah, that's excellent. On this World Sight Day, I know that the focus this year is on children, but we've talked a lot about the impact of non-communicable diseases on our population as well. And I know that for some of these, that means that, your eyes are severely affected depending on what disease you're battling. So can we talk a little bit about how the eyes are impacted by non-communicable diseases?
Sure. First thing that would come to mind, of course, is diabetes. We have lots of diabetics in Barbados. It's recommended that all diabetics should get their eyes screened or checked for diabetic retinopathy, because that changes in the retina, which may be permanent, can impact on your vision in long term. So all diabetics should get their eyes checked for diabetic retinopathy on a yearly basis. Uncorrected or uncontrolled diabetes can cause problems in the retina that can be permanent, and these changes can cause blindness and can even cause a painful blind eye. So everybody who's diabetic should get their eyes checked. Hypertension not so much of a problem as far as the eye care is concerned. You may have hypertensive crises where the blood pressure is extremely high, can cause leakage of fluid into the back of the eye, but they tend to resolve. Sometimes you may have an obstruction of a blood vessel in the back of the eye from uncontrolled hypertension, and that can cause loss of vision also. Those are more common non-communicable diseases that affect us or affect the eyes. We also have a glaucoma, which is a chronic condition affecting the eyes that can cause blindness, and that's irreversible. So you should always get your eyes checked at least once a year or 18 months maximum.
All right, definitely for adults to be able to kind of stay on path and make sure that their eyes are functioning well. The WHO draws specific attention to child eye health this time around. Eye health services should be accessible, available, and affordable for all children around the world. That's the general message on this particular World Health Day. So very happy to hear that these services are indeed available here in Barbados and accessible.
That's correct.
It's just about making time. Can you walk into the clinics to be able to get the eyes checked, or must you call to make an appointment? How does it work?
It is preferred that you make an appointment. You call to make an appointment from outside, or when you take your child to get vaccinated for school entry, you can make the appointment there and then in the polyclinic. Not all polyclinics have the service, but the appointment can be made. If suppose you attend, for example, Mornin Barbados Polyclinic, you can use the opportunity to make an appointment at Brantford Tate or Eunice Gibson, whichever is more convenient. Maybe sometime in the future we can have all polyclinics taking part in the program, but we have to see how we go with the first 4.
All right. Well, we certainly should try to see if we can make a list and get some parents on board. That is the general aim today on this World Sight Day. You know, children love your eyes. That's the theme for this time around. So make sure you take the children and get their eyes checked. You might be thinking that they're not necessarily paying the attention they need to in school and things of that nature, but it could be a sight problem. Again, thank you so much to Dr. Callender for coming in and sharing with us today. And we look forward to sharing with you and the department throughout the year to hear how things are going and maybe to push some people in that general direction as well.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
All right, so Dr. Callender is consultant in the ophthalmology department at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. Again, happy World Sight Day to you, especially to all of the bespectacled people watching us here on Morning Barbados. How about that? All right, time for a break. When we come back, it's still, you know, awareness when it comes to breast cancer. So we're going to be discussing that some more and telling you all about a very interesting discussion that's coming up that you absolutely should be a part of. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love cruise.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why?
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affairs segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, welcome back to Morning Barbados. On this Thursday, I'm having a hard time keeping track of the days. I don't know about you. Yesterday felt like Monday, and Monday felt like Thursday or something. Now today is Thursday, and it most certainly doesn't feel like Thursday. I don't know, just me. Maybe I'm not getting enough rest. What about you? I don't know. Tell us what you think. Of course, you can always send us an email, morninbarbados@cbc.bb. We love to hear from you. Joining us now is Dr. Dale Springer. He was with us last week as we commenced a mini-series of sorts talking about breast cancer awareness, screening, and generally moving towards saving lives. So good morning, Dr. Springer. Welcome back. Great to have you with us.
Morning, Tisha. Morning, Barbados. Thank you for having me again.
Absolutely. Now, Dr. Springer is Consultant General and Breast Surgeon at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. So I really appreciate that you have made the time, as you did last year, to come in and share with us. And you're not only sharing here on Morning Barbados, you've also been sharing on our radio services as well. So again, thank you so much for making the time to come in and share with us.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure.
We want to focus this morning on diagnosis of breast cancer and a few treatment options that are available. Before, when we heard of even a cancer diagnosis, people thought it was an immediate death sentence. If we're honest, people didn't even want to share about it. I remember people saying someone has the big C. They didn't even want to call the word. So let's talk about the diagnosis, and once you're found to have cancer, what are some of the options based on what's happening with your body?
Yes, so what you said is actually quite correct. When persons used to think about breast cancer before, immediately used to think it's a death sentence, but that is no longer the case. And if ever is the case, breast cancer is one of the most treatable forms of cancer that we have. And if it's detected early, in the early stages, stage 1, or even before the ductal carcinoma in situ, the 5-year survival rate is 99%, or close to 100%. So it is something that is quite treatable, and is something that you should talk about and we should be aware of. In terms of the treatment options after you are diagnosed, the next step is usually to find out what type of cancer. So there's a special test we do called the immunohistochemistry test, using the biopsy sample we spoke about last week. So they use certain stains and look at the cancer cells to see what type of cancer you have. Then next thing we normally do is to try to stage you to see how far the cancer has spread. So the staging investigation that we normally would do is a CAT scan, a series of special x-rays of the chest, abdomen, and pelvis. And we're looking to see how far the cancer has spread. So then based on knowing the type of the cancer and the spread of the cancer, then that determines treatment. So some patients may start with surgery first, or some patients may start with what we call systemic therapy first, chemotherapy and other targeted therapies as their treatment based on these two factors.
Now, coming up, you're going to be dealing specifically with this at a lecture continued that's going to be happening at the National Union of Public Workers, or in collaboration with them. Talk to me a little bit more about that.
Right, so next week, October the 16th, which is Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. at IOPW headquarters, we'll be having a lecture and a discussion. So it's both a lecture where I'll present information, but just as important, we get to hear from persons, patients, or just people who are interested in breast cancer, what their experience has been or what they want to know, and if there is something that I can answer, I will answer. So it's going to be a two-way exchange of information. We had a similar event last year. It's quite interesting. It's quite good. So we are hoping again to have similar input and similar interest again this year.
Why did you think it was necessary at this time to have this particular discussion for this year's lecture?
Right. So breast cancer screening is something that we always need to be aware of, but we are seeing articles in the international press saying that even younger people, they're seeing an increase in younger people being diagnosed with breast cancer. Even though we don't have the exact data here, that is the sense that we are getting as well. But screening helps us to diagnose cancer early, and we can treat it more easily if it is found at an earlier stage. And some of the limitations that we have, so we don't have all the fancy medications and stuff that other parts of the world which are a little more developed would have. So if we get it early, sometimes we don't need to use those medications. So for a country like ours, it's extremely even more so important to diagnose cancer in the earlier stages where less intensive treatments are required. So saying all of that, we decided to focus on screening and early diagnosis this year, and then we'll also do a little bit of treatment.
Now, I know that this is your core business, this is your profession, and this is what you do day in and day out. But what does it take to be able to prepare for a lecture like this one, where you're engaging on a different level, more from sharing information than maybe doing your typical examinations and sharing on a one-on-one basis? Is it different to share in a group? And do you think it makes a difference sharing in a group as opposed to on a one-on-one basis?
No, I think it does make a difference sharing in the group, because sometimes persons may ask things that you may not have thought about, or they may ask something that somebody else will want to know what you would not have thought about. So that's why I think these group sessions are important. In terms of preparation, I always try to review the current literature, make sure I have what's up to date, especially if I can find any information that relates particularly to Barbados. I try to include that as well. But as I say, I always try to include, whenever I do any public speaking engagement, a part where persons can interact with me, because I may be saying what I think is important, but then persons out there may want to know something I have not mentioned. So I think it's always important to have that two-way exchange of information.
And for people who don't know, your profession is one of those professions in the medical arena where you must continually update what you know and the latest information to be able to renew your license. If you can touch on that a little.
Right, yes. So we have to do something called continuing medical education. So every year we're required to know what's supposed to. We're required to do 20 credit hours of medical educational activities. So it can be subscription to a journal, attending a conference, writing a medical paper that is published in a journal. All of these things count towards these 20 hours. We get credit hours based on our activities.
And that's so people know that you are on top of what's happening really in the cusp of medical research and developments across the world.
Right. It's basically to help us maintain current in our practice. So a lot of us do things that are focused on our practice in terms of our education. So just not doing something for doing its sake, but doing something to help us remain current and also improve the care that we provide to our patients.
In terms of talking along those lines, and with this in our rearview mirror, as we kind of set the scene for, the lecture, what do women need to know from your perspective as a breast surgeon about that diagnosis and what life can be going forward after a cancer diagnosis?
Right. So what I think persons need to know is that it's not a death sentence. I always tell my patients before they get a diagnosis they're well, especially those who were detected at screening, they had no symptoms, so you're still well. It's just that you have a challenge that we have to deal with, and it's something that we can deal with. And always try to maintain that positive attitude, even though it may be difficult at times, because sometimes they will have bad days, especially if they're doing systemic therapies or like chemotherapy or so forth. But it is only for a time, and to be confident and rest assured that the good days will come again. Always try to maintain that positive attitude. And along with that comes the support system. Not only that the medical practitioners provide, but also having that family support, so our social support, etc.
And that's really important, Dr. Springer, because that talks about the intersect between taking care of yourself and your general health and mental wellness. It really can make a difference. As always, thank you for coming in. Again, the National Union of Public Workers, NUPW, really continues to be an advocate of cancer awareness through its collaboration with Innovative Surgery Center and Dr. Springer here. This year, the annual breast cancer lecture and discussion is titled Breast Cancer Screening Saves Lives, and it takes place on Wednesday, October 16th, that's next Wednesday, so you have due notice at the NUPW headquarters, Dalkeith, St. Michael, from 5:30 in the evening to 7 o'clock. Make sure you get online and find out more if you need to. Head on out, most importantly, and take in all you can with that lecture. Again, thanks for your time, Doctor. Have a great day today and a good week ahead.
Thanks, you too.
All right, time for another break here on Morning Barbados. When we come back, we're connecting with a lady online who's sharing her story of how she survived domestic violence. That's all next.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
My friend, you don't plan to get it. Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game with dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love cruise.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it. Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome back to Morning Barbados. It's already 6:45. Can't believe it. The time just goes by so quickly. I feel like we just started. So we have to welcome a few wonderful people here to Morning Barbados to share a little bit more. Thanks to Quartz Optical. On this World Sight Day, we want to make sure that we focus heavily on your eyes. Very, very important. Joining us is the gorgeous Nadia Branker, marketing officer. And because my eyes are working, I can see that. I can see all of that gorgeousness, right? Don't feel jealous. Prashan C. Prasad is also with us. So welcome back. You were here with us last year on a different observation, but it's wonderful to have you on this World Sight Day as well. And he's an optometrist with Quartz Optical. So first of all, thank you for the work that you do in getting Barbadians to pay particular attention to their eye health. because usually when we think of courts, we don't automatically go to eye care and eye health and things like that.
I love that you pointed that out. That
yeah,
is very, people, let's be honest, they think furniture, right? When you hear quartz. But of course, as you said, we have quartz optical, and it's all about taking care of your eyes.
Absolutely. I love when businesses understand that they can expand in areas that include their population.
Correct.
You know, there's so many people coming out. If you can see the furniture and accessories better, I mean, it's a whole lot bigger than that. All right. For you as an optometrist, you know, your message on this World Sight Day, have we been seeing people getting involved more in taking care of their eyes and doing the necessary screenings that they must do?
Oh yes, definitely. It's not just a Barbados observance, all right? It's a global observance day. It typically happens on the second Thursday in October every year, all right? To create awareness, all right? And screenings, Quartz Optical, we have been screening not just in our clinics, but we have been going out in the fields and schools and workplaces and stuff to detect those eye diseases that people feel a little bit shy about. So
let's delve a little bit more, Nadia, into the services that are offered through Quartz Optical.
Okay, so I'm excited today on World Sight Day because at Quartz Optical we have a great deal. Get 50% off your comprehensive eye exam for today and tomorrow, which is a big deal. Because, you know, of course, eye health, you know, you have to look at those pennies as well. So today and tomorrow, you can get 50% off your comprehensive eye exam with Quartz Optical. And remember, if you need to go in town, we have a Quartz Optical in town. If you say, well, I'm on this side of the world, you can also go in Sheraton. And if is it down or up, you can go Sunset Mall as well. So we have 3 locations for you that you can go to. And we also have evening clinics as well. We've just introduced evening clinics. Evening clinics will be on Wednesdays and Thursdays from 4 to 7 at our Sheraton branch. So we are ensuring that when you leave work, you can still come and get your eyes checked. If you are any part of Barbados, that there's a place for you at Quartz Optical right here in Barbados.
Absolutely, and that makes a world of difference, particularly with the little ones. If they might have a lesson or they're late, we know the traffic is bad.
Yes.
So to be able to get those later hours where you still can get the screenings done is really important. Now, we know, Prashant, that this year there's a heavy focus on children, even with World Sight Day, in terms of the theme as well. So talk to us about the little ones and the process of getting them screened and the importance.
Yeah, well, the theme this year, it's Children Love Your Eyes, all right? And we prioritize on that because ever since Quartz Optical, we offered free eye exam for kids under the age of 15, all right? But kids should typically have their first eye exam, well, infants, all right, should have their first eye exam between the months of 6 and 12 months, all right? And then from the age, and then from the age of 3 to 6, at least have their eyes tested once. All right, and then they could come to Quartz Optical after the age of 6 to 15 and have their eyes tested free every year. Globally, we have been finding, eye care professionals globally, we've been finding that myopia is on the rise. And this really happened post-pandemic, post-COVID pandemic, where kids were locked in on
the tablets,
screens.
yes.
All right, and globally now, some researchers are calling it the myopia pandemic. All right, because it's becoming so prevalent now and so uncontrollable. So the team, Children Love Your Eyes, is hopefully to create awareness to get kids screened to prevent that myopia from increasing any higher.
Absolutely. I'm so happy that we're focusing so heavily on this today. We had an ophthalmologist as the very first guest on our and we were talking a lot about that as well. And, you know, as parents, we often don't think about those things. Eyes, for example, really preventing children from being their best selves.
Yes.
Correct.
So it's important
and it can
that
have so much impact when
on
they're
that.
at school. You know, you might be thinking, hey, my son or daughter is not doing well, and it might just be a case that, hey, they need to go and get their eyes checked. Of course, as parents, we think about the health of your body, but your eyes are also part of that. And Prashant and I made a joke because I thought I had 20/20 vision. Of course, as a child, my mother took me, and then, you know, you turn 40, and I said, Prashant, I went to get my eyes checked. I said, I have perfect 20/20 vision. And Prashant said to me, Nadia, you're 40 now. You need to, it was good that you came in because then I realized I too now need to wear glasses.
I had that conversation with the doctor this morning. He said it turns on as soon as you turn 40 because I told him this same thing. I told him as soon as I turned 40, it was as though something changed drastically. So it's important. I know that there's been a heavy focus, and we mentioned this before, on NCDs and really curbing that. So it's important too that we are decentralizing, and that's what you're offering at courts, so people can really access care wherever they are. You don't have to go near and far and wide.
Correct.
I know you're talking about all of these fantastic specials, Nadia, that you're offering on this World Sight Day. You mentioned the 50% off, but I know there's some other interesting things as well happening.
So 50% off today, off your comprehensive eye exam today and tomorrow. And we have something called eye candy. Now, eye candy is pretty cool. You can get a free pair of shades, and these are nice shades, okay? And you can win up to $500 when you spend $7.99 or more on a frame and lens package right now for this month. So I'm going to tell you about eye candy again. You can get a free pair of really cool sunglasses and a chance to win $500 when you spend $7.99 or more this month. And of course, there are many other specials. You can come on in for families, as Prashant was saying, for kids before the ages of 15. You get that free eye exam, and their frames as low as $59 for kids as well. And remember, we have those locations: Sunset Mall, Sheraton, Bridgetown, and we have started our evening clinics from 4 to 7 Wednesday and Thursday at Sheraton Mall. And a little secret, we'll be starting on Sundays as well from October the 13th. You can also get all this information from quartzoptical.com. Also follow us on Instagram, and you can keep connected.
Absolutely,
with your
love
eyes.
that. So we're hearing that there are special offers for first timers.
Yes.
So it spans the gamut. You don't have to worry. You go on in, and there's something for you. What I really love as well, we're going to come out to Prashant, but what I really love as well, because when we talk about accessible care, it must be accessible at several levels. So we're talking about being able to get there. Everybody, not only people with vehicles, being able to pay for it.
Yes.
And at courts, you're also offering the opportunity for people to be able to get that care they need through your financing. Tell us more about that.
Yes, of course, we have our Ready Finance, which is, really good, because you can get your frames, get your lens, and pay later. And of course, this has, courts, not only Quartz Optical, we also like to target every socio-economic background. We know things are not easy, so our Ready Finance, you can get those frames today, get that lens, those frame and lens packages today, and also pay later. And you mentioned accessibility, and of course, there are some people who can't get out there, as we were saying. You can also call us, go at quartzoptical.com. You can call us and get that personalized service where one of our optoms can actually come to you as well. So we are ensuring that from kids to our elderly, of course, we talked about we have an aging population and the NCDs, that we can come to you.
That's really, really important.
And also Super Shield. You buy those expensive frames, and you want to ensure that they're secured. We have our Super Shield guarantee just for you as well.
All right, good stuff. So everything is covered. All you have to do is make that appointment and come in.
Correct.
And it's preferable. So to make the appointment, again, as Nadia mentioned, you can book online, quartzoptical.com.
Walk-ins are welcome.
Yeah.
So don't feel if you didn't book, that's fine. Walk-ins are welcome. You can come on in, and we are going to see you, or we will arrange for a time that we can see you. But please walk in, talk to us, get that information.
And of course, I mentioned earlier, sometimes, especially the little ones can be a little nervous when they hear about going to a doctor, an optometrist, getting their eyes checked. So talk us through the process of what's done at Quartz Optical when you bring the little ones, especially, in to get their eyes checked.
Well, the key with kids is you have to be their friends. You can't wear your white coat. You can't be like, okay, sit down. You need to be as friendly as possible with kids, because when you're a child, you went to a doctor, you felt scared, all right? So, and you try to break that barrier down. So you try to talk to them as friendly as possible. I offer them little treats, little toys. I mean, if you behave nice, you get a toy. All right.
All the kids telling their parents right now, we are going to Quartz Optical, we're getting a toy.
Correct. Those are things you have to do to make sure the kids are friendly. Because if they're scared, they're not going to talk to you. You're not going to know what's going on with their eyes. They're not going to tell you they can't see the blackboard in school. Right. So the better you talk to them is the more likely you are to get a proper response. So it's all about communication. Really.
What are you looking for when you, as parents, because sometimes we miss these things. Okay, what are you looking for as parents? With the little ones, if you're thinking something might be wrong with the eyes.
Well, first of all, if your child is bringing up their phones or bringing up their schoolwork,
they're always bringing up their phones,
and that's problem number one. Problem number two, if they're watching TV, they prefer to go towards the screen and stand right in front of the screen.
But do you remember when your grandparents, you always used to say, don't go so close to the television?
Yeah.
And we'd be like, this old time thing.
Yeah,
so it's true.
There's some truth to it.
They had a reason for that, you know. And so if they're squinting when on the couch and watching TV, that's the next red flag. If the teacher is noticing anything in school, if the grades are plummeting down, if the handwriting is getting really scrappy. I mean, boys, we're generally scrappy writers anyhow. But if they're skipping words and letters in school, so this is where teachers have an integral part in eye care as well to pick up these things.
Oh, that's beautiful. I want to thank you guys for coming in and sharing on this World Sight Day. Lots and lots to really get through. We didn't share everything that's being offered at Courts Optical.
Yes.
Of course, all that's left for you to do is reach out, whether it's online to get that initial contact or information, or you're going to follow up and walk in. That is welcome as well. They're going to be doing extended hours into Sundays. That works for me too, but whatever you do, make sure you don't take their word for it. Go out and find out for yourself and capitalize on the deal available for today. Only 50% off.
50% off those comprehensive eye exams today and tomorrow. Come in. Value you can see right here at Courts Optical.
All right. Thanks, Nadia. Thanks, Prashad, for coming in and sharing with us.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it was
Check
good.
those eyes today. It's time for another break here on Morning Barbados, but we have lots more coming up. Do stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love cruise.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous
All right, welcome back to Morning Barbados. Great to have you with us. It's just about 7 o'clock here in Barbados and across the Eastern Caribbean. We're going to continue to update you throughout the morning as we look toward the U.S. and Hurricane Milton reaching landfall there and the impacts and effects, what's happening. Now, according to UN Women Caribbean, 1 in 3 women in the Caribbean will experience domestic violence, with many women often suffering in silence. The voices of survivors must be heard in order to give hope and to show that there is a way out. We're happy to have joining us this morning Makeda Charles, who is an author and domestic violence survivor. She's very active online as well, so it's wonderful to have her sharing with us today. Good morning to you, Makeda. Thanks for agreeing.
Good morning.
To share with our audience.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
All right, before we officially start, let's get to know you a little bit. Where are we reaching out to you from? Tell us a little bit about you.
I'm in New York. And immigrating from the Caribbean to America, I was surprised that that would become my life story of having to live through domestic violence and take steps towards getting out of that situation and empowering myself. When I first came to America from the Caribbean, I lived with my stepfather and my mother. And my stepfather was the one doing the acts of domestic violence in the home setting, like being verbally and physically abusive and being very controlling and enslaving.
I think from the Caribbean's perspective, and I want to, thank you and commend you for sharing, because a lot of the times in this part of the world, we don't have a lot of people who are speaking out. There are some people who are not all the way sure on what constitutes being overly controlling. I mean, for us, sometimes it's a thin line because of how we are brought up and because corporal punishment is still so widely accepted. So what are some of the differences in terms of what you experienced that others who might be going through it might just be considering their regular day-to-day lives?
If a child is being subjected to domestic violence, the person might try to control the body of the child and try to groom and bribe the child. If it's an adult woman who is being subjected and speaking out to the pastor at the church and also getting educated and working towards financial independence.
Okay, now what was the process like in building the courage to be able to share what was happening with you, with others?
I was fortunate to find trusted adults that I can share my story with. And I would often pray to ask God for help for my situation. And I also needed to be healed inside because it led to low self-esteem and issues of depression. So it was a journey of healing and getting educated and standing up for myself and not letting anyone take advantage of me anymore.
Now you've written a book. How did that come about? Did you start journaling as a therapeutic means of sharing what had happened, or was this purposefully done in terms of writing to help other people?
I always wanted to give back. And I began to discover my talent for writing during my high school years. I guess that would be secondary school in the Caribbean. And I always thought about what I would want to say in the book. And then I finally had time to put it down and get it out.
Do you have a challenge with being labeled as a DV survivor? I know sometimes labels can be hard to kind of work through. And, if so, what do you prefer, one way or the other? How does it make you feel?
I think when people know that you've been subjected to abuse, they may have that old view of you being somebody that people has taken advantage of, and they may not see the steps that you take to empower yourself out of the situation.
Yeah, so with that said, the titles, because for me sometimes I'm wary of giving people titles because it can put you on the back foot, a little bit in the defensive sometimes. So, what's your particular preference?
I don't mind being referred to as a domestic violence survivor. I think that would let me connect with people who are in the situation. But like sometimes people who know you and they know where you came from and they may not understand where you're going, they refuse to see you differently. But it's important that what you think about yourself, that's most important.
As you reflect on all that happened with you, and we consider words like strength and weakness, because there for a lot of people who have not experienced it or who have not been in the situation, I find that a lot of people ask, so why stay? In your instance, you were a child growing up and experiencing domestic violence. So what would you say to people who are thinking that this might be some weakness in someone who takes a long time to get out of the situation, or who finds it challenging to be able to move away?
It's not a weakness. It could be very complicated to navigate. In my situation, we were undocumented and living in America, and also there were family members who were a bit suicidal. And I had to think of a solution that was redemptive and that would not lead to further loss of life. I personally try to work redemptively and to think not just about myself, but about the people who were doing the domestic violence in the home, and to think that, if I reported them, I didn't want them to lose their ability to get a job because they could get a criminal record on their background. So I tried to get a nonprofit to intervene and confront them, and I still continue to live with my abusers because I was trying to also help them to change and look out for myself and look out for their interests as well. But somebody going through domestic violence may not have to do that, and first thing that they have to think about is protecting themselves and getting themselves to a safe situation, working on healing, getting educated, and working on financially supporting themselves.
What was the process like in getting your book written, getting this down on paper? Was it difficult?
I had the ideas and I had been thinking about it for several months. So how my style is like meditating on what I would like to write and then getting it down, typing it up. And then the avenues for self-publishing are Amazon Kindle. There's Barnes and Nobles if you Google it. And there's Google Books. So you're able to create a profile on Amazon Kindle or Barnes and Nobles or Google Books. And once you have typed the document and formatted it, and also once you can pay somebody to design a cover for you, or you can use Canva and rework the covers that the templates that they have for book covers. You can rework it. And if you can't immediately afford to pay somebody to design a cover for you, and you would upload the book cover to the platforms for self-publishing, such as Amazon, Kindle, Barnes and Nobles, Google Books. And once it's uploaded, it's out there, and you tell others about it, and that's how you publish your book.
All right. The difficulty that I spoke about was from you in terms of writing this particular book. Talk to us about what's within the book. Is it you sharing your story, or is it you sharing some self-help type information about how people can get out of these situations?
I share my stories. It's a faith-driven book, so I share stories of miracles God did for me throughout the process. I'd have to work on another book in the future to provide to go into all the details of what exactly I did to overcome. But the book has stories of overcoming through faith.
Was it therapeutic in any way for you to be able to share these stories?
It's always healing to talk about it as much as you can and very freeing, and you're empowered throughout the process.
You know, I want to congratulate you and thanks for really sharing your story, because it's difficult, you know, in this part of the world in particular. You don't necessarily get the level of support for survivors that we would want in a number of ways in terms of how communities react. And it's great, Makeda, that you've been able to share this story. Again, before you go, just remind us of where we can go to be able to get your book. Congratulations on this book, and we look forward to hearing about the second one that you just promised you will do.
Yeah, it's available on Amazon Kindle and on Google Books.
All right, so make sure you check her out online, Makeda Charles, sharing with us. Of course, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month as well. And of course, today we had a conversation with Makeda Charles, an author from the Caribbean who is residing in the U.S. And she definitely shares her story and shares some what she calls miracles within this book. So make sure that you pick it up. Thank you so much for your time, Makeda. Have a good one. We look forward to speaking to you in future.
Thank you so much.
All right, time for another break here on Morning Barbados. A special good morning to my sister, who's watching online as well. Just sent me a very funny picture. Thank you very much. I have to say happy birthday quickly to a young man who loves Morning Barbados. And, you know, he is one of our avid viewers. He's celebrated his 40th birthday this week, and we're going to share his picture coming up a little bit later. But we are really happy to have you, Kevin Waith, being a part of the Morning Barbados family. He took a fantastic picture just for us, and Kevin turned 40 on Monday. So happy birthday, Kevin. Please, guys in the back, no birthday song. We know what happened last time that happened, so no. But happy birthday to you, Kevin. Sending lots and lots and lots of love your way. All right, time for a break here on Morning Barbados. It's 7:14. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oistins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, good morning to you and welcome back. I'm doing just what everybody else is doing at this time of day, looking at your phone, right? So I'm going to Psyche Hospital on Instagram, and on Instagram they have everything that's coming up during this week. Of course, it is Mental Health Awareness Week, and we've been telling you about all of the things that are happening, so make sure you just go on and check it out. You can get all the information there. So that's Psyche, Psychi Hospital, and you can get all the information there. We wanted to share with you all this week a few tips that we think would be easy and quick changes that you might be able to make to the way you operate to change the general outcome. So we want to remind you to be mindful, practice mindfulness. That's really important. Engage in mindfulness exercises such as meditation or deep breathing to really center your thoughts. It's important. Mindfulness is a type of meditation in which you focus on being intensely aware of what you're sensing and feeling and just being in that moment without interpretation or judgment. So take some time for yourself and be mindful about what's happening today. It's time for another break. We'll be right back with much more here on Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love cruise.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. It's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you indeed. There's lots happening today. Today is also World Mental Health Day. The observances today. There's been a lot going on, and of course we've been sharing with you for the last 2 weeks leading up to. We want to make sure that you're in a good frame of mind. Really, that's what it's all about. We're pleased to have joining us this morning Dr. Maisha Emmanuel back with us, so welcome back. She's chairman of the National Mental Health Commission, and we're joined this morning by Dr. Brian McLachlan, who is also a member of the National Mental Health Commission and senior consultant psychiatrist over at the Psychiatric Hospital. It's wonderful to have both of you here with us today.
Thank you.
And the color is green.
Yes,
it is.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the work of the Mental Health Commission, Dr. Emmanuel.
Right, well, thank you again for having us. We wanted to use this day to highlight some of what we've been doing. The National Mental Health Commission has been around for quite some time, but the current group, we started back in 2022, and we made some decisions around what we'll be focusing on in our tenure, because it's a 3-year tenure. And so far, we've done quite a lot of work on reviewing our Mental Health Act, and also with the new lifeline that has been started, we were also part of that committee as well. So if we could start with the Mental Health Act, just to talk a bit about that. So the Mental Health Act, obviously it's the laws that govern how people are managed with mental health conditions. And so right now we have just about completed what we call the drafting instructions, which means that document will then go to the relevant persons who would then write the law for mental health in Barbados. And we thought that was important to do because we wanted to revamp the entire approach to mental health in the country. And so we made a point of looking at, or focusing, I should say, on individual autonomy, for example. So just to explain what I mean. Right now, as it stands, let me just use the business about what a next of kin or who a next of kin is. So that's the person who is then able to make decisions for you for whatever reason if you can't. Okay, so whether it's that you have some condition, whether it's temporary or permanent, that allows you not to make a decision, the next of kin does that for you. Right now in law, it means it's your spouse, or it would be your parents or your adult children, etc. In the new act, what we've done is to say, well, it shouldn't be an automatic thing, because we've come across situations where, you know, somebody may be separated, or there's a strain in the relationship between them and their parent. So therefore, that person should not automatically be the one making decisions on your behalf. So in the new act, what we're proposing is that you choose who that person would be when you can. So before you have lost your capacity to make a decision, you can say, well, you know, I want X person. And that person does not have to be a relative of yours. It's the person that you trust to make decisions on your behalf. So the point is, it's all about what can you do when you can do it, and not just leave it up to, well, the law says it has to be your spouse, or it has to be your parent, or it has to be whomever. We give that right to you to make those decisions. And, you know, people may say, well, that's not a big thing. Well, it is a big thing when it happens to you. So if you, for example, you are, let me just use a common thing, you're diabetic and your blood sugars are really high and you're confused and disoriented, who then decides what happens? That's your choice that you make before you get into those problems, okay? Yeah. So that's just one of the simple example of how we're trying to change what is out there. The other thing we've been doing is what we call, or what we've proposed, is what we call an enduring power of attorney. And again, this is a document that allows you to say, well, in the event that I can't make a decision for myself, I want X person to make medical decisions for me, this other person to make financial decisions for me, or a third person to make legal decisions. Or you may say, well, I want one person to do everything. But again, the idea is putting the ability to do that back into the hands of the individual and not leaving it up to family, because, you know, as I said, a lot of times, you know, there may be squabbles or whatever, and so you take all of that confusion out of it. You know?
Absolutely. What has been your experience, Dr. McLachlan, in being a part of the commission? I know that as an 18-member team, you guys have people taken from different various sects and areas of society, professions, etc. But you know, as a practicing psychiatrist, you will bring, of course, your unique side to things based on what you've seen and experienced with the people that you've dealt with throughout the years. So what has been your particular experience in being a part of this commission that's shaping these laws in such a monumental way?
Well, yes, we certainly have been very excited about what's been happening as far as revising the Mental Health Act is concerned. We recognize that the old act was dated, and that certainly, you know, in a modern Barbados where we are respecting human rights, we're looking at the rights of persons with disabilities, the new Child Justice Bill and Child Protection Bill. So we've recognized we really have to be a lot more sensitive to the rights of persons in general, and that therefore includes when persons are being admitted into hospital, and especially involuntarily. One of the things that we are proposing as well in the new Mental Health Act refers to something called medically recommended status. As it stands now, a next of kin can sign a person in along with two doctors, but that, you know, lasts for a year in terms of that status. And the current law speaks to a 6-month review, but it doesn't really speak to what should happen at that 6-month review. And what's good about the new act and what we're proposing is that it will be not for a year, but for 30 days, and after which one has to justify that the person needs to be in hospital longer. And because we're taking out the next of kin, then it means anyone who is signing a person in for nefarious purposes, we take that out of the equation and really and truly and have persons that the client trusts in terms of making that determination. So there are other changes obviously in the Act, but we are really excited as it brings us in line with what is happening worldwide.
It's great that we're having these conversations even before, because it's important that you have these things in place. As you mentioned, Dr. Emmanuel, before you get to the place where you can't make that decision. I know that a 24-hour lifeline type initiative has been introduced as well. Talk to us about the importance of that.
Well, thank you for that question, because it was coming out of the experience, if you recall, last year where we had a spate of persons who were dying by suicide. And of course, as the public was quite alarmed, obviously so were we. And so one of the things that came out of that, because the ministry commissioned a rapid analysis of that, those persons, and myself and two of my colleagues, Drs. Grave and Campbell from the university, we did a rapid analysis of that, those cases. And one of the things that came out of that was the need for access to mental health care, especially after hours. And so the Lifeline took that information as well as other things that were going on, and that's how the whole Lifeline came about, meaning recognizing there needs to be somewhere people can call. So right now, of course, you have the psychiatric hospital, QEH, the polyclinics, but we thought of there needed to be another avenue through which people could access care, and that fueled the whole development of the Lifeline, as we see it. Our colleague who's also on it, well, she's actually the deputy chair, Dr. Sue. She's done a lot of work on the policy around helpline, and so we were able to build on that with the other areas in the ministry to develop the Lifeline.
I have to say a special good morning to Dr. Sue. She's been my helpline on occasion after hours as well. I saw you nodding in agreement when Dr. Emmanuel was talking about the importance of having that care available on a 24-hour basis.
Very much so. And so the helpline would have launched in February. It was a soft launch then, and then a more formal launch in April. And up to yesterday, we've had 3,100 calls to the hotline. And so it does represent that persons are reaching out and seeking both help in crises and sometimes seeking advice. Dr. Sue and I do serve as technical consultants to the helpline, but in some instances when I followed up with persons who have called, and we normally get involved when suicide is involved in some form or fashion. One can have a low risk of suicide, in which case it's flagged. Sometimes persons are at the brink of attempting suicide, and so we would get called, and sometimes in real time we're actually dealing with that and trying to, again, find some intervention for persons. But when I followed up with clients for whatever reason, I'm always impressed by how many of them said they were thankful for the opportunity to be able to call and to vent and just be able to express themselves. So most of the time when I'm calling, persons are in a better place. Some obviously would need further interventions. They need to be referred to mental health services, wherever and whatever is palatable for them. But the helpline certainly serves a purpose in providing that initial response 24 hours a day and getting persons then on a path to, getting help for whatever crises or circumstances they're in.
Absolutely. I mean, sometimes for me, I will call a sister depending on what I'm talking about, because there are different sisters for different things. Fortunately, I have a few to draw on, but I say nothing, I'm just venting.
Yeah.
And it really can make you feel better. For you, Dr. Emmanuel, on this World Mental Health Day, what's your general message to people who are viewers of the show and looking on, and who might not be in the best mental space at this point?
Yeah, I really would like to encourage people to reach out, because more and more you find you have services available, and there's still so much stigma around that people are afraid. People might say I'm, mad, or I'm weak, or, and it's nothing to do with that. I always like to make the comparison to if you have a medical issue, like if your blood pressure is high or your blood sugar is low, whatever it is, you're not afraid to reach out and say something, right? And in a similar way, and that's how I would like people to think of mental health problems, just as any other medical condition, and reach out, because there is help out there. We are quite accessible, we are available, we are willing, and there's no judgment attached to it. So if people take nothing away from this whole mental health month and this day in particular, is that you have to reach out so that we can give you as much support and help as you need.
And from you, Dr. McLachlan.
Well, the theme for World Mental Health Day is actually mental health in the workplace. And as you alluded to, there's actually a hybrid seminar webinar today at the hospital. Our colleague, Dr. Fortson Hill, Dr. Ronald Chase, a psychiatrist, Mr. Lewis as well is involved in that, and two other persons, and they're going to be certainly focusing on that. The issue of stigma, certainly both in society and in the workplace as well, very important. People do have a right to work. Work is obviously necessary in order to earn and to be able to provide. But work improves when persons are in good mental health, and once a workplace certainly is supportive, then person's mental health will become better as well. So it's a bilateral relationship, and so we want to again just encourage mental health wherever
Absolutely.
that may be.
I'm scrolling on the page, looking as we're talking about it. So, I mean, they share all the information there that you have to find out. For a lot of people, this is your connection. This is where you are able to maybe access it in a way that you don't feel like other people are looking over your shoulders, or you don't have to worry about someone looking on. Because as you mentioned, for some people, they're worried about what people will think or what people will say. So, being online, I think, makes all the difference. And with this page, there's an option to send a message as well. So the 24-hour service is definitely a game changer. And hearing that you have serviced well over 3,100 callers or people who've called in for assistance over the lifetime of the initiative says a great deal about the important space that it takes up in our community. Yeah.
Indeed. So we would like to keep encouraging people to keep calling and keep reaching out.
Good stuff. I want to thank you both for coming in and sharing with us on this World Mental Health Day. Of course, raising public awareness about our own organizations and the way we work, and just basically taking care of each other, because we're here for these long hours with these wonderful people.
Yes.
Every day is not the same, but we have to make the most of it. So, reach out to someone is what I like to say, and see how they're doing. We kind of get into the mundane, how are you? But we don't necessarily wait for the answer. So today, I would like to encourage you to wait for the answer. How are you doing? And mean it, Share some hugs, why not? A special good morning to Ashley. Lashley, she was in Bridgetown a few months ago with an initiative giving out free hugs. How about that? I don't know if I could do it, but kudos to you, Ashley. And thank you both, Dr. Emmanuel and Dr. McLachlan, for coming in and sharing with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Good stuff. So remember, practice mindfulness, engage in mindfulness exercises such as meditation or deep breathing to center your thoughts on this Mental Health Day. Time for another break on Morning Barbados, well past the 7 o'clock hour, but we have lots more coming, even though we're into the final half hour or so of the show. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oistins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it. Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game with dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love cruise.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's 7:37 on a Thursday. That means tomorrow's Friday. I don't know, for some people that might mean a great deal, a good weekend. And I guess that's why we say it, but it's just work, normal day. How about that? Anyways, we have some young people who are joining me now. You know, we love to have the little ones in to celebrate them and celebrate their accomplishments and all they're doing. These two are superstars. Yeah, so we have representing Charles F. Broome, Mr. Zahavi Small, and he is going to be representing Barbados in the Chinese bridge competition. Good morning to you, Zahavi.
Good morning. 你好，早上好，巴巴多斯。
All right, good stuff. And we also have Tashina Yacint, who is representing Lodge School, and you also are a participant in the Chinese bridge competition.
Yes.
All right, so talk to me. I'm going to start with you to tell us a little bit about how you heard about this initiative and got involved.
Okay, so I've always liked languages and different cultures. So I noticed my mom wanted to get me into the classes. So she noticed that UE posted that they would be doing Chinese classes for people within a certain age range. And unfortunately, it was older than me, but I decided to apply anyways. And I was accepted into the class. So I am currently at level 3, but I heard about the competition last year while I was in level 2. And I was originally supposed to participate, but I was scared, so I backed out. But I decided, I'll participate again this year. And by the grace of God, I got through and I won.
Congratulations, that's excellent. What about you, Zahavi? How did you hear about it?
Well, so first it started with my classmates voting for me to go into the Chinese competition that our teacher told us about. So after that, I did my best and I came out successful.
Yeah, how has it changed the way you interact with people and talk at home and the things you do and look at?
Well, it's fun to learn new languages because I like their culture, their food. I love everything about them.
All right, and for you, has it changed the types of things you like, look at, how you research Chinese culture a lot?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. And there is a language app that you can use to interact with people that know the native language. And I've used that, and through that I have made some good friends.
Let's talk about the competition itself. Was it difficult at all?
I personally wouldn't say that. I was very nervous. And then when I get nervous, it's hard for me to be in front of a lot of people. So sometimes I might tend to forget. But I practice a lot by myself, and it went quite smoothly.
For you?
Well, I was a little nervous, but my teacher helped me and she let me understand it very well, and I did my best, and I came out victorious.
What are some of the things you had to know and do to come out on top of this competition?
Well, we had to, there was a talent section, So basically, you could do anything for that. Some people did calligraphy. Somebody played a song on the flute. I sang a song from a drama that I watched. We also had a section where they asked us questions about, like.
So it was sung in the language?
Yes, in Chinese.
All right. Was it difficult for you to learn the song? Because singing a language, I am told, is a little different from writing or speaking.
I would say not quite, because since it was from a show that I liked, like I would watch the show about 3 times. So I often like heard the song and would listen to it a lot. So I picked up on it. So it was just to actually like look at the lyrics and get it like word for word. But I definitely knew the chorus, so it wasn't as hard for me to learn.
Are you gonna sing us some of it for us today?
You really want me to?
She doesn't want to, Zahavi. What about you? What did you do?
So we had to do a self-introduction in Chinese, a question and answer segment, and any talent in Chinese culture. And I did singing for my talent.
You did singing as well?
Yes, please.
Watch this, Tashina. Are you going to do a little bit of your introduction for us and some of the singing, Zahavi?
Yes, please.
I know!
So,
the younger ones always do. All right, so go.
Self-introduction. 你好，早上好，我叫Zahavi Small。我今年9岁，我来自巴巴多斯的 Charles F. Broom 小学。我和我的爸爸妈妈和弟弟住在一起。我的爱好是游泳、打篮球和跑步。我是汉人1年了，我可以用1首童龄指导诗。0、1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10。And that means in English, hello, good morning, my name is Zahavi Small, I am 9 years old. I go to school at Charles F. Broom in Barbados. I live with my mother, father, and brother. I like to swim, play basketball, and run. I have been learning Chinese for 1 year, and I can count from 0 to 10 on one hand.
All right, excellent. That was really, really good. And then you sang a song as well?
Yeah.
Was it from your favorite show?
No, it was Nursery Rhyme.
Was it difficult for you to learn it?
Well, I learned it within 2 classes, so I guess not that hard.
All right, so let's hear this nursery rhyme.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, by the way. 你下你下亮晶晶，满天都是小星星，挂在天上放光明，好像细柔小眼睛。一闪一闪亮晶晶，满天都是小星星。And just do that 3 times and then the song's finished.
All right, excellent. That's good. We have to applaud. Sheena, good stuff. How about that? Doing very well, and great to see that you've achieved this level of proficiency with the language in such a short space of time. Now you are moving beyond these shores. Yeah. Talk to me about your experience, your expectations for this experience.
Well, I am really excited to go. Not so much about the flight because it's very long, but I'm looking forward to making new friends and, you know, doing sightseeing and, of course, enjoying the food. I'm really looking forward to that, you know, the authentic food. But yeah.
Yeah, what are you looking forward to most about heading off to China?
Well, I would like to experience their culture, eat their food. I am a swimmer, so I would like to see their aquatic center, and I would also probably go to the zoo to see some pandas because pandas are China's national treasure.
All right, now in the primary category, which is 6 to 12, Zahavi, he really took it. He competed under the theme Chinese Joy and Fun, and we had a little bit of that joy and fun. The primary competition required participants to introduce themselves, as he mentioned, and display a talent, which is what he did. He also did a question and answer segment. Was that a little nerve-wracking for you?
Well, we just had to pull some cards, and then whatever's on them, like it would show a number, and whatever number that is, the judges would ask you.
Is anybody at home au fait with Chinese? So do you sometimes talk to them in Chinese and get them to talk back to you?
Well, I'm doing that with my brother. He's pretty good, I guess.
Okay. How old is he?
3.
Your 3-year-old brother?
Yes, please.
So you're teaching him Chinese?
Yes, please.
Love that. What about you, Tashina?
Well, in my house, no one like focuses on Chinese like that. My sister, she personally does Korean, but my brother, the school, he goes to St. George, so they have like, well, I guess they're like people that come in that do Chinese, so sometimes he might come home and like say certain phrases to me and be like, oh, I learned this and then I'm like, okay, that's good.
Okay, good stuff. Now, in the secondary category, which is the 13 to 18, that was under the theme Flying High with Chinese, and Tashina, you know, are representing the Lodge School, of course. She won the top prize, and they were required to introduce themselves in Chinese again, give a speech on the topic under the theme Display a Talent, and answer a question. And as we mentioned, both of these students are going to be traveling to China to compete in the global final of the competition on behalf of Barbados. That's a really big deal.
Yes.
Are you nervous yet?
Well, yes, I'm a little bit more nervous than what happened in May, but I know that I will do my best.
Do you know how many people are going to be participating?
I can't call it an exact number, but I know that it's going to be very, it's going to be a lot of people because it's international. So there's going to be people from Africa, you know, from America, England, maybe even like, you know, countries like Singapore, Malaysia. Like, you know, it's very good. It's very vast.
What would you say to someone who's looking on, who might be thinking, I don't know if I might be able to learn Chinese? Because sometimes when we hear it, it sounds like it can be quite difficult to learn.
So you can like go on an app called Babbel, and it has, I think, all the languages of the world, and you can just click on the one that you want to learn and it will teach you.
Good stuff. What about you? What advice would you give going into anyone who might be interested in learning and might be a little apprehensive?
What I would say is that I think it's definitely better to do classes with somebody who's an authentic speaker, because yes, language apps do help, but like it might not be like as modern, as up to date as like a foreigner. But you know, you could use, as he said, Babbel. You can use Duolingo. The app that I use to like talk to native speakers is called Hello Talk. So any language you want to choose, you could talk to a native speaker. But I personally, I don't think it's hard. If anything, you know, it might just be the different tones. But I've heard people say, and I would agree, that's probably one of the easiest languages in the world. The hard part about it is maybe understanding, because Chinese people tend to talk very fast. So, you know, like especially since some words might be similar and the tone will change it, like having them right after the other might be a little hard to catch. But I don't think it's a hard language. I think, you know, it's a language that you could easily approach.
All right, so are you going to give us your introduction?
Let me see if I can remember something off the head. 大家好，我叫金南，我是巴巴多斯，我是巴巴多斯
It's the nerves.
Yeah.
That is all right. What's your strategy generally going into the competition?
I would say just practice, because like I would say a lot of my speech is like 3 minutes, 2 minutes, so there's a lot to remember, and like some words might be new to me, but you know, my teacher, she's helping me learn the speech and my introduction. So yeah, I plan to practice a lot on the flight, 11 hours, so I got a lot of time. So I plan to practice on my way there, but I have the sound down pat, and yeah.
Good stuff. What are you going to do for those 11 hours, Dave? I mean, that's a really, really long time.
Well, my mother said to get up and walk every 2 hours, so...
Mom is giving you sound advice.
I might walk every 2 hours, probably go to sleep, eat some food on the plane.
Who's going on the flight with you two?
My father.
Dad is going?
And I'm traveling with one of my teachers, Amber.
Okay, from that school, so you guys are going to have...
Chinese.
The Chinese teacher?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good stuff. You know, I know you guys are looking forward to it. You told me about what the strategy is going into the competition, what you're looking forward to most, and that's the culture, the pool for Zahavi, and for you, Tashina, the food. So, you know, I wish you both an excellent experience. I hope it is as fantastic as you want it to be. And make sure you bring the gold home to Barbados.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Can we expect that, Zahavi?
Yes, please.
Yeah?
I'll try. I'll do my best.
Have you been practicing your speeches and so on as well?
Yes, please.
Good stuff.
My mother helped me to do it.
Is she learning any Chinese at all?
Well,
A little
Not
bit?
really.
No, she's just
helping me.
Yeah, one of those parents who says
The pronunciations.
two, right? Two, yeah. So she's kind of the taskmaster.
And she's in the studio here today.
Hi, Mom. Hi. All right, and we know, it takes a lot for parents to be able to support them as well. So we most certainly look forward to you two doing well as you head off to China with this particular competition representing for Barbados. And I certainly hope that you guys continue to learn the language even after this.
Of course, of course.
Yeah, further opportunities that will be available for other Barbadians to learn the languages. So, parents, give a call and see how you can muscle in on that as well. It's just about 8 minutes before 8 o'clock. Stay with us. We're coming back to give you a little bit more and wrap for today.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love cruise.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. It's a different feeling altogether.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
You know why?
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, so it's time to wrap for today, but before we go, we want to remind you of a few things. So the Department of Emergency Management's Engaging Youth in Disaster Risk Reduction Youth Forum comes off today. So make sure that you participate in it. It's going to be between 9:30 and 11:30 a.m. Learn how you can make a difference in disaster risk reduction at your school and in your community. Mental Health in the Workplace seminar in celebration of World Federation for Mental Health Day is coming off today. The topic is mental health in the workplace, and it's going to be happening from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Recreational Therapy Room at the Psychiatric Hospital. Again, the theme is, it is time to prioritize mental health in the workplace. Definitely very, very timely. There will be a number of key topics, and you should attend to gain some practical insights into how you can promote mental in the workplace. Now, the Barbados Accreditation Council's 20th anniversary panel discussion towards a national qualifications framework for reimagining higher education in the Barbados economy. It's a discussion taking place today at the Courtney Blackman Grand Saal of the Central Bank of Barbados, 6:30 this evening. I believe you had to register for that. So if you've not registered as yet, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to go. But members of the panel include Governor of the Central Bank of Barbados, Dr. Kevin Greenwich. He's going to be a part of that panel. Director of the National Transformation Initiative, the Honorable Dr. Alison Leacock, Dean of the Faculty of Science and Technology, the University of the West Indies, Dr. Janice Badenoch, and Executive Director of the TVET Council, Henderson Eastman. It's going to be moderated by the Executive Director of the BAC, Lisa Gale. Jennifer Burrows was in and she talked to us about the second annual Daughters Arise conference that came off. Women Arise, and they had a fantastic time with that conference. They did exceptionally well, so congratulations to you. We wanted to shout you out this morning. Jennifer, at some point in time, we're also going to share a nice summary of all that happened with them. It's Thursday, that means it's Q Day. So we're inviting you to follow us to Q in the Community. Today we are heading off for Q in the Community to Cricket Legends on Fontebelle St. Michael from 11 a.m. and is hosted by O'Neill's Kitchen. Our live broadcast starts at 12 o'clock in the afternoon and it goes all the way through until 5 o'clock. And that's live on Q, but we're inviting you to come out. There will be no Q bus, but you can head on down and utilize the City Circle bus if you have to use the bus service to get there to Q in the Community today. That is absolutely available to you. And I said it already, but I want to say it again because I missed it on Monday. Happy, happy birthday to Kevin Waith. And I know that you're watching Kevin because he watches all the time. Loves Morning Barbados, and we absolutely love you too. So I hope Kevin has a great birthday. He's been having a good week, and we look forward to maybe having you in so we can have a little discussion. Before we go, there's lots to talk about coming up on tomorrow's show, the Friday edition. So we're talking about Glow Up Wellness Seminar and Cocktails in recognition of World Menopause Day. That's tomorrow, plus the 10th anniversary of I Am a Girl and the upcoming celebration that is on for tomorrow, which coincides with International Day of the Girl Child. The Lions Club of Barbados Central's inaugural Walk Against Poverty. We're going to tell you more about that. Plus, a big shout out to the Lions as well. I know I Care is something that you focused heavily on in the past. We see that with the Lions I Care Center at the QEH, and thanks for all the work that you do in that area. Plus, we're going to have Sanctuary Empowerment Center talking about their first Live to Worship recording experience that is coming up. They're going to be in to tell us about it. And Alicia Aline will be here for Fresh Fridays. It's going to be a ram-packed day tomorrow, jam-packed, whichever you choose. But whatever you do, make sure you tune in to Morning Barbados. If you can't, you can catch us a little later in the evening. So on behalf of the entire team, thanks for spending the last 2 hours with us. We are going to be streaming here on TV8 a discussion that's coming from the Salises at the University of the West Indies on republicanism. That's going to be streamed on our YouTube page from around 11 o'clock this morning. And you can tune in to CBC TV8 a little later to catch it, an edited version. But for more details on that, you can check out UETV as well. On behalf of the crew, like I said, have a great day today, and we'll see you, God willing, tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.